Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you've been having a fantastic spooky season. I hope you're having an amazing Halloween. If you are watching this on Halloween, I'm definitely going to be uploading it on Halloween. And yeah, I hope you have a great time. Today's video is me doing a book haul. Now, I haven't done a book haul in 5 months. The last book haul I did was at my old place, and I've moved since then, and I promised that I wasn't going to do another book haul until I moved. And here we are. I've moved, and I've settled in, and more books have been acquired. I will say I've been very good. I haven't gone into like any bookshops like at all the past few months, and so I haven't been tempted to pick up too many books. I don't think this book haul is really that big. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you today are like pre-orders and maybe some book box stuff and all of that jazz. So yeah, I've really been very good. I've been putting more of my money into this house than I have actual books, so I feel proud of myself. I feel good, and I don't know if this is a me problem, but I'm just not really wanting to buy new books, honestly. Like I don't really feel the need to. Like, I'm not compelled to go into a bookshop and buy something. But I do still have a little bit to show you in this video that I've acquired over the past 5 months. So if you end up enjoying this video, please do give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into my first book haul in my new home. Okay, I've got like just a very tiny little bit of middle grade to show before I go into like the young adult and the adult books. But one of the most beautiful editions I've picked up is The Worst Witch by Jill Murphy. And this is the Puffin Cloth Pound edition, which I have been collecting. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's like this shelf here is all of my Puffin Cloth Bound editions, and this is just so beautifully going to slot right in. I love The Worst Witch. The Worst Witch was my childhood. I used to watch the TV show that ran on, I think it was CBBC or ITV, and it does follow Mildred Hubble, and she is just a really bad witch. Or like, not bad as in like evil, but like she just can't really do things well, and she goes to Miss Cackle's academy. She keeps messing things up, but you know what, she has a heart of gold, and I love Mildred Hubble so much. She was my icon while I was in my youth. So happy to I've dropped the books again. This is the second time I've accidentally dropped the books, by the way. You would think I was doing this on purpose. I'm not, I promise. So I've actually been very good since moving into this house. I've spent most of my... I've just kicked over all of my books. Oh, I genuinely cannot be bothered to pick that up. Oh, I've been showing this off in every single video that I've been filming recently that you will see soon. Recently in my 24-hour readathon video and in my upcoming Raven Cycle vlog. But I have a stamp that puts like a from the Library of Gavin Hetherington like little embossed thing on the pages of the book. So every book that I put in my collection that I know I'm going to keep and that I've read and I love, I'm going to stamp so that it stays in my collection forever and ever. So I will put a link in the description box for where you can get one of these yourself if you fancy one. But yeah, we're just going to emboss the first page of The Worst Witch. And there we go, it's from the Library of Gavin Hetherington, and so it should stay that way forever and ever. Next up, I have the February edition of Howl's Moving Castle by Deanna Wynne Jones. I have already read this one and I loved it. I read this years ago, so I do think I need a reread. It just follows Sophie. She is cursed by the Witch of the Waste to like age, and she becomes an old woman, and then she meets Howl and his moving castle. I can't remember if the film changed so much from the book anymore. I would actually need a reread of this. It's been 5 years since I read it, and I was obsessed with the February edition of this, and like the Kiki's Delivery Service one looks absolutely gorgeous too. But yeah, I love the fact that February are doing like more Studio Ghibli films and like the books that inspired the Studio Ghibli films. Obviously, since I already read it and loved it, I'm going to emboss it. It is so pretty. I love it. I love the feel of it too. Just, ugh. Next I have my copy of Percy Jackson the Olympians, Wrath of the Triple Goddess. This is obviously part of the Percy Jackson series. There was this book that came out last year, I think, The Chalice of the Gods, and so I would need to read this first before I go into this one. But this was like the Waterstones edition. I haven't read it yet, so I'm not going to emboss it. I'm not going to stamp it. But yeah, you know the world of Percy Jackson, you know, demigod, world of Greek mythology, and so on and so forth. Not that I really know what the new Percy Jackson books are about, or like the kind of plotline they follow, but I'm getting them so that I can binge them. I've already read the original series and loved it. And then the last middle grade book that I have is Skandar and the Skeleton Curse by A.F. Stedman. I believe this is the fourth book. I have the other 3 on the shelf there. Haven't read it yet, so I won't stamp it. Yeah, this is a magical series where people bond with like unicorns, and in this one I think the unicorns are struck with a terrible curse. Haven't read a middle grade in quite some time unless it was for a book club, and I really want to get back into my middle grades, and I've accumulated quite a collection that I can, you know, start on when I get that middle grade feeling back. But I did want to get the Skandar books as they were coming out because, you know, they all have sprayed edges, they are all in hardback, and it looks like a series that I'm going to really enjoy. So going into like the young adult and the adult books now, I got this sent to me from the publisher. This is Laura Stevens' Our Infinite Fates, and it comes out February 2025, and this is so beautiful. Like, I haven't even taken the bow off yet because it's just too nice to take off. Like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to read it? But I do know that I think there's like a Taylor Swift lyric that inspired this book. It was something like, in every life, the Taylor Swifties are going to come after me. Like, in every life they kill each other, like, or something. I will kill you in every life. Or infinite lives, I'll kill you. I don't know how it goes. Taylor Swifties, let me know in the comments down below. But that lyric kind of inspired this book, so I do think it follows... Oh, maybe this is it. It's on the back. They've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every one. So it's inspired by that. Is that the Taylor Swift lyric? I don't know. But yeah, I think it's like two people, they love each other, but they kill each other every time. They get reincarnated. I don't know. I literally can't open it up to find out. I also got sent Let's Split Up by Bill Wood. This looks like a really cool like slasher kind of horror young adult book. This one follows a group of kids who want to investigate the murder of an it couple, and they are murdered in this like really creepy manner. And I think it may have some kind of supernatural element to it. I think there might be ghouls and ghosts. But yeah, I have no idea. Thank you so much for the publisher for sending it. Is it out now? They might have sent me the finished copy, actually. I just love the title, like, Let's Split Up, and then famous last words with the killer on the loose. I love that, because it like reminds me of like Scooby-Doo, when they like split up to try and find clues and stuff. That sounds really cool. So this could be like a murder mystery young adult novel. You know, I could do way more research, but I'm getting vibes. I'm just here for vibes and vibes alone. The last book that was sent from a publisher is Phantom Hearts by Rosie Talbot and Sarah Maxwell. This is a graphic novel, and it's a sapphic graphic novel as well. This one follows Malia, and her life is turned upside down when a couple of her classmates are killed in a bus crash. What makes it even worse is Malia's dad was driving the bus at the time, and then the ghosts of the students that died, I think, begin to haunt her. Thank you so much to the publisher for sending it. I think it's out now as well. I think they sent me the finished product. I've been wanting to read Butter by Isako Yuzuki for the longest time. The main character, I think, is a gourmet chef who is convicted of killing lonely businessmen who she has kind of lured in with like the promise of, you know, like these delicious meals. There is a woman called Rika who ends up writing to the, you know, convict and gets some recipes from her. And then when she starts like eating those recipes, I think she starts to like feel some like changes and things. I don't know, like that just really sounds pretty incredible to me. Yeah, it says with each meal she eats, something is awakening in her body. Meiichi and Kaji have more in common than she once thought. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna end up putting this on my end of year TBR because I'm gonna be filming that after this. And yeah, I'm gonna read it. You just watch me, I want to read this. So I'm not gonna stamp it yet. I would love to, but I should read it first before I stamp it. Next I have James Herbert's The Magic Cottage. I think I have some like horrors and thrillers, which is like perfect for today, Halloween. But then watch, November 1st hits, and that's when everyone else watches this video, and like this video will be redundant already. It's like, why are you talking about horrors and thrillers now? Like, it's all about Christmas. Come on, Gav, catch up. I think this follows a group of people, or I think just a couple, who go to this cottage and like everything seems like so idyllic and so amazing for the time being. And then I think there are like some creatures in the woods. There are bats. There is a crazy sect that wants their home. And like things just like start getting like really, really weird. I haven't read a James Herbert book before, but I have had my eye on, I think it's called Rats. So this will be my first James Herbert book, and I've heard great things about it, so I'm very excited to give it a go. Next I have Smothermoss by Elisa Alluring, and this was in my very first, I think, Abominable book box, because I ended up signing up for it. This one is set in the 1980s, and it follows Sheila, and she's looking after her great aunt. She also has a younger sister called Angie, and Angie is obsessed with nuclear war. For some reason. There are a pair of female hikers who are murdered on the Appalachian Trail, and Sheila and her sister Angie get like drawn into all of that. I also have It Ends at Midnight by Harriet Tice. I've never read anything by them before, but I have seen Blood Orange around. This one is set in Edinburgh in New Year's Eve, and there is like this lavish New Year's Eve party that is about to happen. Somebody gets murdered at this party, and someone is out for revenge. Sounds like my kind of New Year's Eve party. I also have Looking Glass Sound by Catriona Ward. I have read The Last House on Needless Street, and I liked it. It wasn't amazing to me personally, but I did enjoy it. This one sounds like more up my street, I think. You know, like we have an author who goes to a cottage I think it's like overlooking the sea, or like there's some kind of cliff, and they're there to write their final book ever. The main character, Wilder, did have a friend who once stole his memoir, and now I believe like he's out for revenge, and how he gets that revenge, I do not know. I've just realised that we have a bit of a revenge theme with some of these books. A book that I bought because I was getting FOMO, because a lot of people on BookTube are talking about it, is The Heart by David Sodergran. I feel like this author is like really making the rounds on BookTube the past few months, and I ended up buying this I think during Summerween when I saw Gabby talking about it, and I just recently read this a couple of days ago, and you will probably have seen my vlog by now. It was in the 24 Hours of Horror vlog, and I really enjoyed it. This one is set in this like really like small Scottish village, and you know, it's like very sentimental to a lot of people who live there. They've lived there for years, and this property developer, this billionaire arsehole, wants to take the land and like buy some of the people out, and Muriel, who is our main character, she ends up coming across this strange creature, and like this is kind of what it looks like. She ends up saving it, and it kind of starts to help her, and it is quite horrific and gory. And I loved it. I thought it was great. It was so sentimental, and I just thought it was really good, okay? Didn't think I would, like, feel attached to characters and stuff, but no, it was really good. I've already stamped it, so if you're watching my 24 Hours of Horror vlog, you will have already seen that. I picked up 3 of the T. Kingfisher books from Evernight. So we have A House with Good Bones, which I've started reading, by the way. Also have The Hollow Places and The Twisted Ones, and I freaking love these covers so much. Like, they are gorgeous. Love the sprayed edges. This is where my superficialness comes out. But no, as soon as I saw them on sale, I was like, cool, let's get them. I have been reading some of T. Kingfisher. I haven't read all of T. Kingfisher. I'm still quite new, but I have read like A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. I've read The Raven and the Reindeer, which I loved. And yeah, I've started House with Good Bones, and I've been enjoying it so far. And it would be nice if Evernight did some more like T. Kingfisher books, especially like the more horror / gothic ones, so that the collection can be like further enhanced. In The Twisted Ones, I think we follow Mouse, who has to kind of clear out her hoarder grandmother's house, and I think there are like some terrors in the woods. Haven't read it yet, so I can't really explain it too well, but I'm excited to read it. In The Hollow Places, I believe we follow Cara, who finds a bunker behind her uncle's house, and there are some like weird things written on the walls. These words and this bunker itself is like a portal to alternate worlds or alternate realities. I feel like I'm gonna have to be in like the right mindset for this one, because it could probably confuse the life out of me, but no, it sounds great. This was recommended to me so many times recently. And then I did start A House of Good Bones. I still need to finish it, but we do follow Samantha. She goes back to live with her mother, and her mother lives in the house that, you know, she used to live with her mother, and Samantha also used to live there as well as a child, and her mother's kind of changed a little bit. Like, there's some weird things going on there, and we're about to find out like what in the world is going on. So I'm not that far in to like really fully understand the plot just yet, but I'm enjoying it so far. I'm thinking it's really, really good. Next, I have Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballingrud. This is like the tiniest of novellas. I read The Strange by Nathan Ballingrud a couple of months ago. It was like a sci-fi horror western kind of book that I actually really enjoyed. It says that years ago there was a cave, and there was like this massive spider that was, you know, creating silk and stuff like that lived there. And then like years later, there is like this facility that still uses the silk and stuff. I don't know. It sounds strange. I think it has something to do with like the mind and being disturbed from, you know, the silk from the spider. It says it's set at the Barrowfield Home for Treatment for the Melancholy. And our main character is called Veronica, who comes to visit, or is coming there to be a patient. I don't know. But man, you can knock this out in like 2-3 hours maybe. I have already read The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, and I really enjoyed it. I gave this one like 4 stars. This one follows J1, and her family is like definitely changing. Her family's changing. Her mother has found a new partner, and her and her sister, their lives are kind of like in uproar. And G1 ends up discovering that she kind of has a taste for eyeballs. It's definitely a strange one, and I really do love this Evernight cover for it. The UK cover of it was like absolutely vile, so I was like, you know what, I've cancelled my Evernight, but I'm going to resubscribe for this one and then cancel it again. Oh, I haven't stamped this one. Let's stamp it, because I read it and I'm keeping it. Honestly, this is so fun. I love stamping my books now. Let's do it right about there. It makes like a really satisfying crunching sound when it does it. And it doesn't put a hole through the paper, you're all good. Finally, my copy of Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir came. I have already read this and I really enjoyed it. Oh, so I can stamp this one too. This is just going to be a book haul video where I just stamp everything. And you're probably thinking, Gav, what are you doing? Like, these are like very valuable book editions. And I'm like, I don't care, I'm not selling them. I don't buy them to sell them unless I hate it. I know I like this one, so let's put my stamp in right next to the signature. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This one follows Ryland, who is the sole survivor of his space mission gone wrong. Ryland is still out in space. He's still on this mission, and it's now up to him to save humanity, essentially. It's been like 2 years since I read this one and really enjoyed it, so I was waiting for my Broken Binding edition to come to match my other ones by Andy Weir. So the only one I need to read is The Marsh. No, I've read that one. So the only book I need to read of the Andy Weir books now is Artemis. So I'll give this one a read. That's all of Andy Weir's books from Broken Binding. Next, I have a copy of Pirate's Life for Tea by Rebecca Thorne. This is the Waterstones edition. I also have the first book, Can't Spell Treason Without Tea, also from Waterstones. This one follows Chianthe and Rhaena, who are desperately trying to find dragon eggs to save their hometown. In just judging from like the title alone, I don't know too much about this plot. I think maybe it has something to do with going out into the open sea, hunting pirates, things like that. But it is a cozy fantasy. It is sapphic. So I got The Dead Take the A-Train by Cassandra Cole and Richard Cadre in the Abominable book box in one of the months. And I'm a little bit unsure because I did read Nothing But Black and Teeth by Cassandra Cole and really did not like it. But maybe this one's better. You know, it's co-authored. So, you know, Cassandra didn't write the whole thing themselves. So maybe it is good. Maybe it is good. I'm still going to give it a chance. This one follows Julie, and I think this is a world where there is magic. And Julie has a lot of magic within her, and she lives in New York City. Oh, it's going to be duology. Oh, and it's cosmic horror. Oh, I mean, I'm still open to everything, but I haven't read a cosmic horror that I've really fully enjoyed yet. Okay, so it looks like Julie gets the attention of a god who is hungry for revenge. It spells danger. Okay, I mean, it was part of a book box. You know, so I guess it's fine. It could be good. It could be good. Let me know if you read this, please, because I kind of need more encouragement to actually pick it up. Yeah, I'll try it. I'll still try it. Next, I have Delicate Condition by Danielle Valentine. The main character in this one is Anna, and she's desperately trying for a baby. She's going through IVF. But she begins to suspect that somebody is preventing her from, like, actually having a baby. Like, from actually having these IVF treatments work. Anna feels like she's being followed. The doctors tell her she has lost the baby, even though she can still feel the baby inside her moving. So she is in this like snowbound little town, and she thinks the person who's following her has like followed her there. And yeah, I don't know, like it sounds like it's like really psychological. It sounds like it could be like very messed up. And one of the critics says it's a feminist update to Rosemary's Baby. I haven't read or seen Rosemary's Baby, but I kind of know what happens. I mean, I could be there for it. I could be. Next, I have Richard Lehman's The Lake. This was also in an Abominable book box. I kind of love the fact that it is like secondhand. Like this was like actually in a book box and it's like secondhand. It's like this. Oh, okay. It's like this beat up book that now the pages are falling out of. And that's very intriguing to me. That's very intriguing. And I've never read a Richard Lehman before. I do have a Richard Lehman collection that a colleague from Waterstones, when I used to work at Waterstones, recommended it to me, and I still need to read it. Oh my god, I think it's like The Glory Bus or something. There's also The Island, which I think I need to check out as well, because that's like very highly acclaimed. The Lake I had not heard of until I got sent it. Oh my god, it smells old as well. I kind of love it. I really do, actually. Oh my god, that smells beautiful. Like, smells a little bit vile, but like beautiful in a way, you know what I mean? So I believe we have Lee, and 18 years before, something happens at the lake house and it's terror inducing. And then 18 years later, I think her and her daughter Dina are there, although maybe she's not even Dina's mother. Because like this summary is a little bit confusing. It's saying mother and daughter are plunged into a nightmare of blood and terror. The perils of the past and present kind of clash. So I feel like Lee, back then, experienced something. 18 years on, her daughter gets to like this lake house thing. I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. But if I could actually physically read this without the pages falling out, that would be great. I picked up Queen Bee by Juno Dawson, which is part of the Her Majesty's Royal Coven series. This is the Fairy Loot edition. I have the other books, Fairy Loot editions, over there. It is just 2 books so far, right? And then this one. Or have I missed one? Oh my god, have I missed one? I've got Her Majesty's Royal Coven in the Shadow Cabinet. And then this one. Is there another one? I feel like I'm missing one. This one is following Lady Grace, and she is trying to get revenge for the beheading of Anne Boleyn. AKA she's trying to track down the traitor who gave Anne Boleyn up. Yeah, I love Juno Dawson so much, so I'm very excited to read it. Very short. Hopefully it will just like be some kind of like cool part of the Her Majesty's Royal Coven world. Just to like further enhance it. Like even if it doesn't like provide too much substance, it's always so great to just be in that world. I have 4 Stephen King books to show you. I have been reading through Stephen King's books in publication order, most of them for the very first time. I'd only read, was it like 9 Stephen King books before I started this challenge? And out of these, I have read Cujo and Pet Sematary. And I was resisting getting these editions because I wasn't sure I liked them. But now I think I've gotten used to them. Like, I don't mind them too much. But I have already read Cujo. I read it years ago. This is about a dog that I think gets rabies and attacks its owners. It's been a while actually, so I can't really quite remember like the full ins and outs of the plot. But I remember kind of liking it. So let's stamp it. Even though I'm not getting to it for a few months yet, I think it's like mid next year before I get to it, I still wanted to get it because I actually do kind of like this cover. I find it kind of creepy. You know, you have their shoes there and then you see eyes coming from the drain, Pennywise, you know? And I've never read it before. I'll still stamp it though because I'm obviously keeping it. And I said this in my 24 hours of horror video, but like in 100 years when my collection is unearthed, it'll be really cool for people to see that it came from my collection. You're gonna be like, who the fuck is Gavin Heatherington? Pet Sematary is my favourite Stephen King book so far. We'll see what it's like after a reread. We'll see if it still holds that title. So I'm obviously gonna stamp this one because I did love it. And then finally Christine. I'm reading Christine and I'm rereading Cujo in December because that's the next Stephen King episode I'm doing. And I'm just having an absolute blast. An absolute blast. So I'll be getting more like Stephen King books in that collection as well. And I also picked up 101 Horror Books to Read Before You're Murdered by Sadie Hartman. I've already done a video reading through this and getting a TBR out of it too. It was really, really cool. If you haven't seen that video yet, oh my gosh, please do. This is like a really cool companion novel for like horror in general. And it gives so many recommendations for horror books that you should read in different genres, as well as like more things like author interviews and like little essays as well. It's so interesting, so cool. So yeah, I've already talked about this in a video. I will stamp it. I'm not going to stamp these yet because I haven't read the first 3 yet. But I do have the Fairy Loot Vampire Academy editions for books 4, 5 and 6. Not sure which order they go in, honestly. But I do have Spiritbound. I have Last Sacrifice. That feels like it should be the 6th book, right? Is the 6th book the last book? And then also Blood Promise. So I do have the first 3, but I cannot remember where they are. I'm lost in my own library. Where are they? Mead. Oh, there they are. They're just here, the first 3, and then I'll have these ones as well. And I am planning on finally tackling the Vampire Academy series. I think these are all of them, right? I think there's only 6 books. So yeah, I want to tackle all of the books and I'm going to have an absolute blast. I have no idea what it's about. No idea what the Vampire Academy series is about. It is like classic YA now at this point. I think it came out in the 2010s. And that was like during like the vampire craze and the vampire hype. And I was all about the vampire hype. I don't know why I didn't pick up Vampire Academy earlier. They're probably going to be terrible now. I don't know. They may not have aged very well, but I'm still very tempted to give them a go. I just got sent the 3 Body Problem by Cixin Liu in the new Broken Binding. I think it's a sci-fi one, and it just came very recently. So this is like a brand new book. And I'm very excited to read the series because I've heard great things about it. Some people I love on BookTube have read it and loved it. And I've heard it's like just very interesting. I think there was like a string of inexplicable suicides that Beijing police ask a engineer to look into. Yeah, they go to Wang, and Wang, I think, finds like this online game thing that's connected to these like really weird situations that are happening. And I believe it goes into like this kind of virtual world thing in a way. So I don't know if it's a little bit like Ready Player One, or maybe that's like a terrible comparison. I loved Ready Player One when I read it years ago, and I need more sci-fi in my life, and this looks like it's going to be the ticket. And I probably said it's so bad too. It is translated by Ken Liu, so yeah, love it, can't wait to read it. I have Olivia Blake's Januaries by Olivia Blake. Olivia Blake, Januaries by Olivia Blake. I love that. Stories of Love, Magic and Betrayal. This is the Waterstones edition. Very nice. I believe this is like a collection of just like modified fairy tales and short stories. And there's even a bonus story in the Waterstones edition of it, I think. So I feel like this is probably something that I'm going to enjoy more than like Olivia Blake's like full length stuff. I feel like maybe having it being such a concise and smaller word count might help me with the like vagueness of Olivia Blake's writing. But yeah, I essentially do have most of Olivia Blake's books at the minute, I think, so what's one more? I have The Dragonborn Chair by Tad Williams. Beautiful, beautiful copy from Broken Binding. Oh, I think the series is called Memory, Sorrow and Thorn. That's actually like a really beautiful series name. This one follows a kitchen boy called Simon, who is typically bored and sick of life, and then I think he becomes an apprentice to a wizard. There is the death of the good King John, and I think the world is like plunged into darkness. There is like an evil threat. Sounds a little bit like a lot of other fantasy plots that I've heard of before and like read myself. So my expectations aren't really all that high, but I'm still very excited to give it a go. Love the cover. I think Broken Binding did such a fantastic job at designing this one. It's massive though. Oh my god, it's so huge. How many pages? 918. Oh my gosh. The writing though. The writing is so cool. Like the writing's kind of like a little bit big and also like bold. It's like bold writing. It kind of looks like an older book because of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, those classics that you read and like the writing's just like a little bit bolder than what you get today. I love that. Okay, 8 hours later, because I forgot to mention I also got 5 Fear Street books, but these are the cheerleaders books. So I have the first Evil, the second Evil, the third Evil, the Evil Lives, and the new Evil. And I thrifted these off eBay because I just did a Fear Street video where I read all 51 of the original Fear Street books, and it was an experience. I'll link that video down below if you haven't seen it yet. It was one of my big ass projects I worked on for 3 months. But I believe these books are the ones that the Netflix set of movies kind of took more inspiration from than like the original series, because the original series is like nothing like the movies on Netflix. But I believe that this is more to the vein of the movies, maybe. I might read these when the next Netflix Fear Street movie comes out, which is rumored to be coming out potentially in July. So I might end up reading these then. Who knows? But yeah, I am back on my thrifted nostalgic books on eBay shit. I have All the Devils by Caitlin Wilson. Wait, this is set in Ravenswood Academy, and I don't know why, but I was like, ooh, Raven Boys. Because I recently read the Raven Boys series and loved it. And I was like, oh, because I got this from Waterstones. It was a pre-order. And it says, this year the students at Ravenswood will be raising hell. Is this like Raven Boys? I don't think it is though. This one follows Andy, and on the day of her sister's funeral, she realizes that the body in the casket is not her sister. Her sister is actually alive. Andy then thinks the boarding school that her sister went to is covering up her like murder, like her disappearance or whatever, and so she enrolls herself to find out what happened. I love the idea of that. I think it sounds so cool, and I don't know, just the Ravenswood thing. I'm saying the Raven Boys everywhere at the minute, so I thought it would be cool to pick up. I have a Dark and Drowning Tide by Alison Saft. I just love the end papers. Like, it gives me very classic mythical creature vibes. This one follows Lorelei, and she is a folklorist. I believe the adventure of this is that the king wants this like fabled water, or like some kind of magical water that Lorelei can find, and Lorelei wants to prove herself in this world, so she takes it upon herself to find this water, I think. Next I have Andrea Stewart's The Gods Below. I have the Boneshot Daughter series by Andrea Stewart, so very excited to get to this one. And I didn't realise this, but this is the start of a new epic fantasy series. There is a divine war and humanity is shattered, but they do make a deal with a god in order to stop the madness. The god stops the war, but all the people in the land are changed. Don't know too much more after that, but sounds like a pretty good series, and I'm all about my epic fantasy at the minute. And then finally, the final book that I have in this book haul is The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle. I love Catherine Doyle so much. I've read her middle grade series. I've read and loved the young adult series Twin Crowns that she wrote, well, co-authored with Catherine Webber. So I believe this is Catherine Doyle's adult or young adult. I don't think it's young adult. I think it's adult. Adult debut. It says it's a fiery enemies to lovers romantasy. I don't know. Sometimes marketing people kind of confuse what romantasy is just because it's kind of like a buzzword at the minute. So I don't know, is it actually romantasy? Has anyone read this and like, is it actually romantasy? I don't think I've really read a romantasy yet, and I would like to. This one follows Seraphine, and her mother gets murdered and she runs from a scene and she gets taken in by the Cloaks. There is also an organization called the Order of Daggers, and I don't know, it just sounds like really, really cool. I don't know why, but a little part of me is getting like Liza Locklamore vibes a little bit, just judging from the summary, but it might not be anything like that, but that's kind of the vibes I'm getting at the minute. And yeah, I'm excited to read it. Love Catherine Catherine Doyle. Really excited to like really dive into some romantasy actually, and see if it's a genre that I end up liking. So that was my book haul. As I said, it isn't really that extensive. It isn't really a whole lot of books that I went out and got to, like from a bookshop or anything like that. I really do need to treat myself to a book spending spree. I might do that in Australia when I go to Australia in a couple of days. But I'm kind of shocked it's like this low. Like obviously you're probably thinking, oh my god, there were so many books. Of course there were, like definitely, absolutely. But like for me, and for 5 months of like purchases and stuff, it just doesn't feel like a whole lot to me. And I feel like I've turned a new corner. I'm just like not really wanting to like buy new books. I've got my library, I've got my Kindle, and I've got all of these as well in my room. I've already got all of this in all of that you can't see. So I really don't need to buy any more books. I kind of just want to, but I don't need to. I kind of want to, but I don't need to. I kind of want to. But that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave all the comments down below. Let me know if you've read any of the books in this video. Hype me up for any of the books I haven't read yet. Is there anything that I've hauled that you don't like? Oh my god, I would love to know that too. Give me the tea. Give me the tea on the books that you don't like. Is there anything here that I should avoid? I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons for supporting my channel. If you'd like to join my Patreon, then the link is in the description box. But yeah, I hope I will see you in the next video. Bye!